Hey, high schoolers, I'm so glad to be joining your small group time and to get to talk a little bit more about what we talked about when we were together with large group and this story of the Samaritan. So remember, the man was injured on the side of the road. The priest, the Levite walked by, and the unlikely Samaritan stopped and helped the man and was a great example to us about who our neighbor should be and how we can go and do ministry with others. And remember, ministry is just that caring and loving and sharing a piece of you with your friends and the people that you interact with, which I know you guys are doing. So today we're going to talk about a couple skills that will help you be the kind of servant leader that we want you to be. So, one of the things we learned from the Good Samaritan story was you have to be able to notice or observe when other people are having hard times. So, today we're going to practice observation. And then the second skill we're going to practice today is called weeding. And that's a way that you can get to know a person because to begin a relationship, you have to start somewhere. And so weeding gives us tools to start that conversation to get to know somebody. So let's talk about observation first. One of the things I love about peer ministry is it teaches us that to notice is to care. And how many of us want to be noticed and want to be affirmed? And so when we can work on our observational skills, we can notice people more and they can trust us and we can have that deep relationship. That's something that I want you guys to do together in your small group. And then as you're out in the world, you can notice other things and that will help you care for people even more. Now, a couple things to know about observations. You always want to start with I noticed or I observed. I said I observed in it and it didn't really sound like mind language because it sounded a little forced. So try and use your natural language and then make that interpretation. So I said I noticed that her face got relaxed and dreamy when she talked about the silence in her house. And I thought, oh man, maybe she really needs that in her life. That was my interpretation of that body language that she was giving us. So you always want to start with I noticed, or when you used your voice, something specific that's not with any kind of judgment. It's not you're judging. You're trying to ask if you were receiving the information that you noticed in them correctly. Because about 7% of our communication is through our actual words, and 38 is in kind of the tone of voice, the pace, all those kind of things about our speech. And then 55% is in those non-verbal cues that you're picking up. And we can easily misinterpret those cues. So when you're trying to build trust with another person and trying to be in relationship with them, it's important that you ask them if you're receiving the right messages. And you could see from Amy that I received some of those and that she felt really heard when I said the things about her that I observed. And that helps them feel more relaxed and makes them know that you were listening. It's about that respected relationship. Now, Amy and I have been friends for a while now, so we come into this with a respected relationship. But that could have easily been damaged if the thing that I noticed about her was something that was really negative or had a lot of judgment on them. So you want to make those uh, things that you're noticing about them come from a respected place. Really observing should be like you're holding up a mirror, like, and here's what I see reflecting back, and checking again to see if you are understanding what the other person is communicating. One thing to avoid in our observations is something called lookisms. These are things that are based on your appearance. It could be clothing or hairstyle or body shape. Now, when you're starting a conversation, noticing their t-shirt or, if they have really great hair that day, starting a conversation with that kind of observation is usually okay and a very positive way to kind of enter in. But when we're giving that feedback after a more in-depth conversation has been had, we want to go more in depth with that observation about what their body language was telling us and then how we understood what that body language was saying. So it's that observation and then your interpretation on it. And you're always checking to see if you are understanding the other person correct. So observations can be a little difficult and a little awkward, but they're so fun to give and so good to do. So I noticed that when you were talking about the quiet time
Yeah.
in your house, you kind of got this faraway look on your face. Like, oh, that would be so heavenly.
I was actually
Yeah.
picturing it in my mind. Yes.
I loved it. And I just thought, oh gosh, my heart kind of went out to you. And I thought, man, she really could use that. And then when I noticed when you were talking about kind of the vacation spots,
hmm
that you kind of had that same look in your face. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, that's where she gets that time.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
yeah, so that was really
Yeah.
fun to
Yeah.
notice about you.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, awesome. That's it.
Okay, thanks. That's
Thanks.
it.
So first, let's talk about what weeding is a little bit more. So in your GroupMe chat, I posted a picture of this page here. It's page number 3, and it says "wheat" on the side. So weeding is an acronym to help you know what kind of questions can you ask somebody. So it's where, like where they're from, hobbies, events or experiences, acquaintances, and travel. Where, hobbies, experiences, acquaintances, and travel. And you can ask these questions. Now, I'm going to show you an example of me trying to weed somebody that I had no idea. They had no idea I was going to do this. I asked them 2 minutes before, hey, can you come in here and be on camera with me? And Amy said yes. So let's watch a little bit of that. Hey, everybody, this is my friend Amy Walker, and she is the preschool director for Bethany Preschool.
Yep.
How do you say
Bethany
it?
Christian Preschool and Kids Day Out.
Woo, that's a mouthful.
It's a long one.
So I invited her in here. She has no idea what we're doing, and no, nothing at all.
I have no
So
idea. No.
you can see how fun
Yeah.
she is. So here, we're just going to have a conversation about you, so I can get to know you a little bit better. And for you guys watching, I'm going to use our WHEAT acronym, and we'll see how it goes. So
Okay.
first, so tell me, are you from Omaha Original or Elkhorn?
I am from Omaha, yes. I was
Okay.
born and raised in Omaha.
Nice.
Yes.
Always out here in Elkhorn, or?
No, so we used to live in Benson
Okay.
until I was about 5, and then we moved to Elkhorn. So
And which do you like better?
I mean, I don't really remember Benson too much, but
Mm.
you know, I have some memories there, and I liked it there. But of course, I like Elkhorn.
Very cool. And yeah, I have really enjoyed living close to Elkhorn and just
Mhm.
this community. Is there anything that you tell people like why they should be in Elkhorn?
I love Elkhorn because it's still like a smaller community. I mean, it's getting larger all the time, but it still has kind of a small town feel, which I feel like is good to have. So that's why I like Elkhorn.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I know that you work at the preschool and you have 3 kiddos about the same ages as mine.
Yes.
If you had free time, what would you do with it?
If I had free time, I would probably read books, sleep, do lots of sleeping, and just maybe sit in silence.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me more about that.
I don't have much silence in my life, so I'm here at the preschool all day, so there's a lot of noise, and then at my house with the kids, yeah. So
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of book to read?
so I really like I like self-help books,
Mm.
but I just got into like some see, now you're gonna put me on the spot because
That's okay.
I always mix up fiction and nonfiction, and I'm a teacher, so I should know the difference. Fiction books, like books that aren't like about real things, I like those books too. So I don't know. I just don't have time to read those.
Yes.
Like I feel like if I read like a self-help book, I feel like that's something more beneficial to myself.
Yeah.
But fiction books are more fun.
What's the best self-help tip you've gotten recently?
I would say do not make your life decisions because someone else wants you to do it that way. You should do what you feel is right, what you feel is what you need to do. So that's why, yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Awesome. So tell me, what's something at our church that has been impactful in your life?
Okay, well, I love small groups. I haven't been in one in a long time, but I feel like being in a small group with people that you're friends with, that you build relationships with is beneficial, and it's been one of my favorite things.
I did not ask her to say
She
that,
didn't ask me to
guys.
say that. And I haven't been in one in a long time because we got busy.
Yeah.
And then it was the pandemic.
Ugh.
And now
Yeah.
I'm feeling that need again. Like I need to have that. Like that's something that I've been missing. So it's really good, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the A for wheat is acquaintances. And I know we have some similar
Yeah.
acquaintances.
Yes.
But can you tell about our new child care director and kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
how that happened? Tell me about how that connection was made.
Okay. So our new child care director's name is Katie. Am I talking to them or you? I don't know.
You can talk to me.
Okay.
Don't forget about
So,
them.
I actually went to high school with her. Actually, I grew up with her. I went to all the grade levels with her. And then I hadn't really seen her forever. Her kids go to my kids' school, so I've seen her there. But when she actually was driving by my house one time and told me, stopped by and said that she saw the job and asked if I'd be interested in it. And I was like, I think you would be great. I think you would love it. So that was I feel like a God thing too.
Totally.
Had to have been.
Definitely. So I know the pandemic has been going on, but have you been able to do any travel? I know you guys sometimes get to go fun places.
Yeah, so we're very blessed that my parents have a house down in the Ozarks. So we did go there this summer. And I mean, being at their house, you don't have to go anywhere and still have fun. Like, you know, they have a dock that you can swim off of. So we did go there. I am bummed we didn't get to go visit Johnny's family, which is a bummer because we always go visit them in Illinois, but his dad is kind of sickly, so it's not really.
Yeah.
We won't be able to see him until this is over. So
Yeah.
it's sad, but you know, we did get to travel though, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But Johnny didn't get to go because his job required him to stay.
Okay.
I know, poor guy.
What part of Illinois is Johnny's family from?
He's from Danville,
Okay.
which is by Champaign, which is
I know Chicago.
3 hours from Chicago. They're 3 hours south.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
I kind of
Yes.
understand now.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you guys still get to talk with his dad
Yeah,
often?
We do FaceTime.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's so important.
I know. Good thing
So
we have that
important.
now.
Right? Yeah.
It's been great.
Definitely. Well, thank you. So you'll notice I did a couple things in the video and I tried to mark those. First, the genuine interest. Did you see how I was nodding my head and the smile on my face? I even kind of leaned in certain spots to show that I was interested in what Amy was saying. So that general interest in the other person helps a lot. Two, you know, sometimes when we're talking to new people, there's all kinds of fears. And you could see Amy at the beginning kind of expressing that, like, I don't know what's happening. And I tried to kind of calm that and say, it's going to be okay. It's all right. And that's one way we can do that. And sometimes we even just have to say, yeah, I'm a little nervous too. So you can begin with an observation. I observed that Amy is a member of the staff here at church and kind of got into the conversation about that way. Beginning with an observation can be like, I love your shirt, or look at the weather, or hey, it looks like you enjoy running, or oh, look at you're having Oreos for lunch. I don't know. Those are my favorite. Whatever that kind of observation that you see from a person is a great way to start that conversation. And then you know, we all have a hunger for acceptance. And so part of what I tried to do with Amy was share a bit of my story with hers without overpowering her. So I added little tidbits of like, oh, that's just like me, or other things like that to help her know that I was accepting her story and knowing that what she was saying was true. I also asked a lot of questions. Now, you'll notice that I asked some of the questions that are on this book, and then sometimes it didn't really go. Like the acquaintances one, I don't know if we know any of the same people, or I already know that we know a lot of the same people. So I asked her about a coworker of ours, and she shared that story about her. Now, Katie and her were acquaintances, so it kind of worked that way too. But it could even be, oh, hey, don't you have class with so-and-so? They make me laugh all the time, and I'm really good friends with them. What about you? You know, so any of those kinds of things can work for the acquaintances. Resolving any nervousness, you know, pointing out that some people are nervous, continuing to be friendly. You'll notice how both of us kind of relaxed as we got into the conversation. Continuing to do things like that is great. So those are a little bit about weeding. You can use some of the questions on here, but also as the conversation develops, you can just ask good follow-up questions. Now, you don't have to feel like you have to go through every letter like I did with Amy when you have a person. If you find something that sticks with them and you can have a good conversation with them for a while, just stick with it. The goal is to get to know the other person, not to make it through any kind of checklist.